is he forces them to stay there that weekend and that week. And if they want to run roughshod over what the American people want, well, by golly, they're going to have to skip their golf, and they're going to have to skip their fundraisers, and they're going to have to skip all that other stuff. So that's the wonderful thing that Rand does. And he is slowly wearing them down. And some people, you know, you get better legislation because of that. They wanted to do a clean reauthorization of the Patriot Act. And Rand actually shut down the Patriot Act. So they couldn't do a clean reauthorization. And the compromise wasn't that great, but it was a lot better than a clean reauthorization of the Patriot Act. The second reason I support Rand Paul, and this is distinct among all the other candidates, he is the least likely to drag us into a war that will never end, and where a lot of people will die, and we won't have clear goals, and it won't be authorized by Congress. I mean, if you look at what we're doing in Syria right now, President Obama came to Congress in 2013. I got 100 phone calls a day saying, don't go to war in Syria. The idea the president had was to take out Bashar Assad, and that would make the world a better place. The problem is, in 2013, we were just creating a space for ISIS. Now, Congress didn't authorize the president's actions in Syria those few years ago. So what the president did is he took the CIA and spent a lot of money. I get to read the classified annex. I know exactly how much money was spent, but I'm not allowed to say in this room. But he spent a lot of money doing a covert war, if you will. And then in 2014, he came to Congress again and asked if he could spend some more money and do it sort of overtly instead of covertly. We didn't vote on it again. We've never had a debate on whether to go to send troops into Syria. Now they're calling them advisors and whatnot, but that's how Vietnam started. The problem with that is there's no debate. And we don't get a chance to tell the president we want clear objectives before we authorize this, because there are no clear objectives in Syria right now. So I think Rand Paul, I know he is the one who is least likely to drag us into an unconstitutional engagement using our boys and girls and men and women in uniform. One amazing thing about Senator Paul that you don't know unless you see him every day is his work ethic. There are a lot of people running for president, and a lot of them are missing their votes. Senator Paul flies back for every vote that they have in Washington, D.C. So I'll campaign with him, like in Kentucky or Washington, D.C. I'll campaign with him for a day. I'll start at 6 a.m. Maybe we get up and we do all these events, and by 6 p.m. after 12 hours of campaigning, I'm exhausted. I go back home, I take off my shoes, I turn on the TV, and by golly, Rand has flown to New Hampshire and he's given another speech. And I'm like, he's like the Energizer Bunny. How does